The Sunday after 2/12/2018, which is May the 13th, I believe it is, that will be mine and Hope's last Sunday as the pastor of Redemption. And John Gray, Pastor John Gray, has excitedly and almost rode his bike down here to be the successor.
So, as you may have seen from the title of this video, you already know what I'm going to be talking about. Honestly, guys, I have wondered over and over how I would respond to the things happening in Greenville, my city. And this thing is a huge deal. I know for a lot of people who may be watching this, you may not know who Redemption is or Ron Carpenter is, but there are a lot of you who live close to me, who live around me. You do know who they are. You know what this church has done in this city and all kinds of things. And so I wondered so many times, what would I say? And I've gotten message after message, text messages from people asking me my thoughts and what I feel about the whole situation and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know any other way to do it except for the way I know to do things, make a video. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's get into it. So up front, full disclosure, it's been a few days since this announcement happened, and I have got to chew on it just a little bit and really think about how I would respond and all this stuff. There are a lot of people who spoke really quick and really soon, and I think a lot of people were speaking out of emotions, anger, whatever it may be. I did not want to do that. I wanted to say what I thought and give my thoughts. You probably could care less, and that's totally fine. But I want you to know up front, I love my city. Greenville, South Carolina, I think is one of the greatest places on earth to live. We are the #4 fastest growing city in America right now. And so there's a lot of things happening in my city. I think it's a wonderful place to live. And I absolutely love this town. Now, with that being said, I also want you to know up front, I love the Carpenters. I think they are amazing people. I have spent time after time with them. I've seen them in the worst of their life. I've seen them, well, maybe I hadn't seen them in the worst, but I've seen them what I consider may have been the worst of their life. And I've seen them in some of their really great best days. And so I just want you to know up front, I love them. I think they are amazing people. I think they have amazing hearts, and I absolutely appreciate the work they've done in Greenville, South Carolina. With that being said, I do want you to know too up front that I'm going to speak my truth. Full disclosure, I'm going to tell you what I think. So if you think I'm a hater, that's up to you. I don't think I'm a hater, but I do want to let you know up front, I'm just going to say what I think and how I've reacted to this video. So getting into it, I once again think the Carpenters are amazing people. I really do love Redemption. I'm a product of Redemption. I grew up in that church. I was around when they first started. I helped lay the rebar in the floor of the new sanctuary. I was there. I helped with a lot of things. I was a part of the youth ministry for a long time. Grew up there, learned a lot there, worked there, all kinds of stuff. I think it is probably one of the most amazing churches that this city has seen thus far. So with that being said, I do want you to know that I think Redemption is just wonderful. In fact, if were not for God sending Ron Carpenter and Hope Carpenter to Greenville, South Carolina to start a church, I probably would not be saved. I probably would not be a pastor today, and I probably would not be walking as close to the Lord as I am. In fact, if God had not sent Ron and Hope Carpenter to Greenville, South Carolina, I would not have met my wife, whom I love dearly. I think she's an amazing woman, and I met her in the seats of Redemption. Staring straight across the audience, I saw her, we locked eyes. God did it, you know what I'm saying? He hooked me up, bro. I married all the way up, and it was all because of God. And I also give credit to the two people who came here to start a church that would intertwine races and cultures no matter where you are, and so, or who you are. And so I am so grateful for that church. It gave me the opportunity to meet an amazing woman and married her. And another fact is we would not have the kids we have had it not been had we not met at Redemption. The other thing I want to note is I met some amazing people just in general. Friendships that I still have to this day all came through that church, through Redemption. It is once again one of the most amazing experiences of my life, churches that I've ever been a part of. I played the drums there. I did all kinds of stuff there. And again, it's just amazing church. And up front, I'll just be real with you. I'm a little heartbroken because I don't, what is Greenville without Redemption? You know, when you talk about Greenville, South Carolina, somewhere in your conversation you talk about churches, you talk about Redemption. And so it's going to be kind of odd to not have Redemption. And so there were a few things that I do want to make mention of that I thought were very interesting. I do find it interesting, and again, hear my heart. I love the Carpenters, but I do think it's interesting that the name Redemption or Redemption Ministry altogether is moving. I just find it odd because you don't see that most of the time when pastors are going to a different city or taking a different church. They usually leave the name and the organization intact and then they move on. But this is different. Why? I don't know. Am I going to speculate? No, because that's just not what I do. And so I don't do that ever, and I'm not going to start today. I can't wait to see what happens with our city as these changes occur. Now, let me lead to something else. John Gray. I am pretty excited about John Gray coming to this city. I think it's pretty cool to see that our city is attracting people of his caliber to come who feel like they have a heart for this city and feel like they can advance the kingdom of God within this city. And I do think that's pretty amazing that he feels called here and will come here and advance what is already happening. Now, I want to be clear about something because I've seen post after post of people talking about, well, John Gray's about to put Greenville on the map and all this stuff. Well, I do have some problems with those kind of posts and those kind of things that are being said because, first of all, Greenville is the fourth fastest growing city in America. Our economy here is pretty solid. We have a lot of big businesses moving here. We have a lot of things going on here. There's quite a few issues that we don't like to talk about, like gentrification and all this other stuff. But there are a lot of great things happening in this city that have been happening here for a while. And then on top of that, when I see people focus more on the men of the story than the message of the story, it always throws me for a loop. So for instance, I love Ron. I think John Gray, I don't know him that well. I've met him once or twice, maybe 3 times now before, and he was always a pretty cool guy. But I think when you start putting all of the weight on the men that carry the message, you lose the focal point of what's really going on. For instance, my whole thought pattern has been through this as I've been reading the post and all these different things. My whole thought pattern has been, what about Jesus? So what about Jesus? Where is Jesus in all of this? And why are people so fixated on who's leaving and who's coming? I'm not saying I don't think that's important. I'm not saying I don't think you should acknowledge the man of God that's leaving or the man of God that's coming. But I do think it becomes an issue when we start focusing more on that and we start arguing about that than the fact that Jesus has already put Greenville on the map and that Jesus is the most important figure in the story. I am a little worried because I don't want our city to become built on talent and not on the Spirit of God. I was telling a friend not long ago, I said, I feel like our city might be about to enter a period where the Bible speaks of, and it talks about having a form of godliness, denying the power. Listen, people, I don't want you to think that because we're getting this this preacher who has a name in Hollywood and all this kind of stuff, that Greenville is now on the map. Greenville was on the map when God put Greenville on the map. Greenville was on the map before Ron and Hope Carpenter came here. When God placed Greenville on the map, Greenville became important. And he sends messengers, he sends people like Ron and Hope Carpenter who come to do the work because God places importance on the city. I do believe that this is the epicenter of a revival that's coming to our land. And I personally believe that God has something great in store for this city. And as a pastor here in this city, I want to see this city take and expand the gospel and advance the gospel like never before. And so I'm a little heartbroken that Ron and Hope are leaving. I love them. Again, I love them to death. I think they are amazing people. The work they've done in this community has been pretty amazing, and everybody runs into problems and different things of that nature, and they've worked through them. You've just seen a lot of their stuff in the public eye, and a lot of the stuff you go through, if it ever came out in public, probably you wouldn't want that to happen. Unfortunately, they don't get that luxury. If something happens in their life, it's pretty public. And so they've been graceful, they walked through it. I congratulate them as they move on to this next journey. I'm going to miss redemption in my city. I do think it's going to be weird not having that redemption sign. When I drive down Haywood Road, and I drive down that road every single day, I think it's going to be weird to see that there's a completely different church here. But I do believe that God is up to something, and I'm excited for 2018 for what God is going to do, especially here at my church. And I'm just excited. So I want to say a couple things too. Here's a few facts you need to know. Multiculturalism Church is not dead in South Carolina or in Greenville because Redemption is leaving. In fact, there are a lot of multicultural churches now, and there are a lot of churches that are intentionally going after building multicultural ministries. There are a lot of multicultural works happening in Greenville, South Carolina right now. I pastor one of them. I have a lot of friends who pastor other churches who are building multicultural works, who are heavily involved in the community. Now, a lot of those are in their infancy stage, and they will require people who come along to work and help build. But needless to say, there's a work going on in this city that I think is still going to catapult the city to be a beacon in the revival that's coming to the earth. And so I want to encourage you as you watch this. Listen, you may be heartbroken, you may be disappointed, you may be feeling some kind of way about this change and this move, but this is not the end. This is only the beginning for what God is doing in our city. And I love the Carpenters. I think they're amazing where they're going. I believe God is going to use them, but I do know that it's not over for my city. And so I'm thankful even more for what God is going to do here in Greenville, South Carolina. And so that's my thoughts. I wanted to share that with you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Listen, if this is your first time on my channel or watching one of my YouTube videos, do me a favor, click that subscribe button. Let me know you were here, and let's talk in the comments below. Tell me what you thought about this whole transition, and I love to hear from you and interact with you a little bit. Thank you again. Looking forward to spending more time with you. Hey, I got a lot of more videos planned, and tell me what you think about the audio. I got a new mic, and so we'll see how it goes. All right, talk to you later. Holla at your boy. Peace.